Hello, Bambaji here with another Sun transit. And today we are looking at gate 57. The Sun moved out of gate 48 early on this morning, and it moves into gate 57 later on today in UK time. Obviously, I'm based in the UK, so that's what I'm putting it through. This is in BST, British Summer Time. So there are going to be three reports today, the 48.6 that I posted earlier on, this one here, this overview, and then line one, which will follow in about half an hour or so. And it's always a little bit weird trying to get the timing right on these double sun transit days. It's something like at what point do I post the transit there? And I figured, okay, it's going to be easier to stick with the consistency of what I've been doing rather than go with absolute accuracy to the moment when the sun is transiting. Because then I know where I am, you know what's coming. And yeah, quite frankly, my open head couldn't deal with anything else because I looked at so many different things and I was getting a little bit messed. So I thought, okay, let's just leave it. My usual transit time then being at 9 o'clock in the morning, unless the transit happens to be the new sun gate happens to be that day, in which case it's 8 o'clock. So for the new overview, 8 o'clock, the line's always at 9 o'clock. And then if there is a transit, second transit during the day, that will come out at around, I think it's 8 p.m. at night. So it's going to stick with those kinds of timings because it's really just so much easier. I hope for everybody concerned. I have a slide to show you, and I'm changing the way that I'm doing these slides as well. I had some feedback that said that going from text to slides, or not text, from me being on the screen to the slide and then back again and back again was a little bit disjointed. So I'm just going to show you this one slide, and then you can come back to it if you want to, but it gives you all the information that I'm going to talk about as far as gate 57 is concerned. So today, the 7th of October at 23:01 BST, the sun moves into gate 57. This gate is called the Gentle and is called the Gate of Intuitive Clarity. It is also called the Gate of Intuitive Insight. It's true, right? So you can see on the slide there that you have the picture of the mandala. So you can picture gate 57. It's in that brown triangle on the left-hand side. And you can also see the opposition to that is in the ego center, which is the red triangle. So we have the 57, and then the 51 is what is grounding it. It's in individual circuitry, 57, and it's also part of the integration channel. So this is it. This is the image that I'm going to give you, and now I'm just going to talk at you. I hope that's okay. Just going to talk at you now. So our journey through the Splenic Center, obviously, we are still here for another few transits yet. Gate 57, the Gentle. It's a complex gate. You know, it is pointing in three different directions. It has the possibility of three channels, which means it has three harmonic gates. It is the awareness root of the integration channel. Integration is a standalone channel. It's not part of a circuit. And 57 is also part of individual circuitry, so you can start to get the feel of the complexity here. The name, the Gentle, is a bit of a misnomer. It's an extremely yang energy. It's as though you've been sitting outside all day, lovely warm sun, nice cool breeze playing around you. And it's not until you get home later on that day that you suddenly realize that that cool breeze actually had a bit of a chill in it as well. And you've kind of got a bit of a stiff neck. So it's the gentle breeze that penetrated right in and chills you to the marrow. It's telling you to pay attention to those things in your environment that will have an impact on your physical health, on your safety and security. So the 57, in its complexity, it forms a relationship with the 34th gate in the sacral center. This is the power of the great, and together they make the channel of power, which is a design of the archetype being the human. With the 10th gate in the G center, the 57 is creating the channel of perfected form, a design of survival. And these are the two integrated or integration channels, or they are two of integration channels, but the only two that the 57 is connected to. There's also a different one, but we're not going there really. It starts to get a little complicated. Integration is the backbone bone. It's the backbone. So we've talked about the collective circuitry is like the outer shell, holding everything together. And the individuality is the sort of spine, the inside that runs through everything. And then tribal is the innards from there. It's the heart, the soul, it's the diaphragm or the hip center. It's all of that holding everything in. And then we've got integration on the side. And this is the backbone. This is what it means to be human, is what integration is. It's a fascinating channel. So we've got that. It's all about survival for humanity. And then there's also the 5720. And when it goes to the 20th gate, which is in the throat, we have a channel called the brainwave. This is a design of awareness. And this, as I say, this is the individual channel. So the Ravi Ching describes gate 57 as an extraordinary gate. I think you can start to see why. The 57 is perhaps the most diverse and the deepest of all of the awareness gates. It's a gate of intuition. Above the line in the Ravi Ching, the description says the extraordinary power of clarity. That word clarity is interesting because it's not always used with 57. Sometimes it's intuitive insight. In the Ravi Ching, it says intuitive insight. But in the definitive book and in the white book, it says clarity, intuitive clarity. So you can play with that. I don't know why Ra changed it for the Ravi Ching. The traditional Ravi Ching, the name is the gentle. So perhaps this could be the awareness of how being gentle with ourselves primarily, and then others from that, can make life a little bit easier on the spirit. A few gates back, we had gate 46, the love of the body or not, the appreciation for our temple, a gentle and loving appreciation of our temple. This laid the foundation for gate 18, for the gate of correction. We could bring the energy of gentleness here too. Gentle correction, that would be nice, because we have almost certainly experienced the harshness of correction, the type of correction that leaves us feeling battered and bruised and a little bit shaky, perhaps. And of course, the judgments that we turn against ourselves, they are often not as gentle as perhaps they might be. When we explore the energies of the depths of the well in gate 48, again, some gentleness could be employed here when we feel the pull of inadequacy, we sort of the fear is nibbling at our ankles. Some gentleness around that. And now here in gate 57, we can learn to pay attention to the gentle messages that our body gives us, perhaps noticing what we're being told before harsher action is necessary in order to gain our attention. The messages from the splenic system, the little hits that come, are usually quiet and they don't repeat. This is what we're taught when we are learning a human design. The solar plexus, it chunters on and it chunters on, and emotions, you can't can't mistake the wave when it's up really or down really. It's there. The mental chatter, it speaks. We hear that narration in our minds so often. The splenic system is very quiet. It really isn't all singing, all dancing. And so we have to pay attention. We have to become aware of this awareness center. Gate 57 holds a deep power of intuition, an intuition that is the very basis of our survival. This is what integration is all about. It is the backbone of individual survival. 57 only wants to keep us alive, really. That's its prime motive, is to keep the vehicle going, to keep the form alive and with some integrity. The first line is called confusion. And remember that the first line of all the hexagrams is always about the foundation. It's the basis upon which to look at that hexagram. And it says the gift of penetrating to the inner meaning that ensures timely action, and also the possibility that confusion will overpower the intuition. So the essence of the work of the 57 is to penetrate confusion, because confusion is everywhere. And the confusion is all about the same thing. The splenic center is a fear center. It drives our immune system to develop strategies for survival, each of the gates of the splenic system having a primary fear associated with them. In the 57th gate, it is the fear of tomorrow. And you can see really clearly that the fear of tomorrow is very complex. Because the 57th gate, again, it's not just pointing to one other harmonic gate, but it has 3 directions. So it encompasses the fear that we will not have the right behavior to be able to survive in the world of tomorrow through gate 10. The fear that we will not have the power to deal with tomorrow in gate 34. And the fear that in the now we are at risk. And this is the 20th gate. Always this fear. It's a really deep primal fear. All the fears of the splenic system are primal fears. And this is at the root of the 57th gate. Intuition is the primary protection of the life. This is something to be clear about. It's the primary protection here. It is acoustic. We know this. All of individuality is acoustic because we know that it can be slightly deaf, doesn't want to be influenced. So it has that affinity with the ears. And one of the deepest aspects of the 57th gate is that it is deeply attuned to the acoustic world. Imagine you're out on a camping trip in the middle of nowhere. There's this incredible silence. And all of a sudden, there's as a twig breaks somewhere and your ears perk up, and all of a sudden the animal in you is on full alert, completely focused on hearing. Because it might be pitch black, you might not be able to see a thing, but your ears like, boom. This is the 57th gate. It's like that all the time. It's constantly acoustically attuned. In our biology, it represents the right ear. This is your spontaneous existential hearing. The left ear is found in the 22 in the solar plexus. If someone phones you and you put your telephone to the left ear, you're going to hear things over a wave, over time. You never hear things precisely for what they are in the moment. But when you hear with your right ear, you're hearing in the now, and you're hearing what you need to know or need to hear in the now. If you have the 57th gate consistently activated in your design, the key for you is to listen to your intuition, respect your intuition. It is a guide to the perfection of your form, to the perfection of the archetype of strategic survival, and your ability to operate correctly in the now. When we looked at the 18 and the 48, we saw that they were in the stream of taste, in the logical circuit, a circuit focused on repetition in order to achieve mastery, on correcting patterns in the system. Gate 57 is an individual gate. It is in the stream of intuition. It moves from the fuel in the 38 in the root center. It goes up to the 28 in the splenic center, and it kind of crosses over the splenic center into the 57, and then it moves up to the throat in the 20 for its expression. All the energy in the body graph wants to get to the throat for expression and or manifestation. That's really what these streams are all about. They're all funneling energy from a fuel source or a pressure source, which is either going to be the head or the root. And it's pushing that into a potential. The potential is always attached to the fuel source or the pressure source. And then that becomes a potential. The potential turns into a possibility, which becomes an expression. So each stream, they're called awareness streams. So each stream moves through an awareness center. You're either going from the root through the solar plexus up to the throat, or via the ego if it's in the tribal on that side, or you're going from the head down through the ajna into the throat, or you're going from the root up through the splenic system and then to the throat. These are the ways that the streams play out, and the streams are in each of the different circuits. So for each, you have, sorry, I might be getting a little bit geeky there. my apologies. Maybe I'll do a little video on the streams and the circuits, and that will be make things a little bit more straightforward, a little bit more obvious, seeing as I talk about them a lot more now than I used to. So yes, each awareness center, so in this case, the splenic center, it has the potential on one side, the possibility on the other. The potential is gate 28 for this particular stream of intuition, the potential awareness of the risk in the struggle. And the 57 then is the possible intuitive awareness of security. And of course, we always have to throw in the or not after each sentence. So individuality is a bit deaf, it's a little bit stubborn. The 57th gate, the right ear, it's going to have those qualities as well. It is designed not to be influenced by others. And so hearing can be a bit selective. The whole key to splenic awareness is to pay attention in the now. Otherwise, the splenic information, the hunch, it's so easily ignored. It is the quietest of all of the awareness centers. So it's very easily overruled by either the ajna or the solar plexus. When focused and anchored in the now, there's no tomorrow. And if there's no tomorrow because you're in the now, there's nothing to fear. There's no fear of tomorrow, there's just now. We have moved from the lymphatic capacity for the taste to distinguish between what one likes and what one doesn't like, to the lymphatic capacity of intuition, which is manifested through our hearing and through the physical vibration of our body and its vibration field. So the grounding comes through gate 51. Gate 51 is in the ego center, and it's called the arousing. It's the gate of shock. It says the ability to respond to disorder and shock through recognition and adaptation. It's individuality as well, although it's a minor circuit of individuality, it's called the centering circuit. So there's a link there, we find continuity all over the place when we start looking for it in the body graph. The gate of intuitive clarity, it can be quite shocking at times. When it's connected directly to the throat through the 20, there can be a spontaneous speech, the intuition talking. There's no mind involved here to shh, don't say that. This is just coming straight out of that splenic system, which is in the now. And the stuff that comes out, well, it can be very interesting because the splenic center can intuitively pick up things about other people. So there needs to be some awareness around this. Because what you are saying and when you are saying it, it could be shocking to other people. So having that grounding in the gate of shock, in the arousing, you don't want to arouse too much resistance from other people. You want them to be receptive to what you've got to say. If you've got something about their health or something that you intuit about them that might be really helpful. But this is a projector energy. They both are. The 57 and the 51 are both projector gates. So recognition and invitation are what are required before you shock somebody with your intuitive insight and your amazing clarity. Could make sure that they actually want to hear what you've got to say before you say it. It could be really, could save you a lot of pain. Okay, I think that's it for gate 57. I hope you have enjoyed this overview. Do you have gate 57? If you don't have gate 57, you might find as we go through this transit that you get these sparks of intuition, maybe physically, because this isn't about the mental intuition that comes through gate 61, that intuitive insight into it's not intuitive insight, forget I said that. It's an instinctive, no, you see, it's not even that, it's inspiring, that's it, it's the other I word. It's an inspiration that comes in with the 61. But it's individuality as well, so it comes in the moment. But this is in the body, this is not the mind. So explore, see what happens. Maybe you have one of the other 3 gates that the 57 is pointing to, so you'll be experiencing a channel. How does that feel? Are you suddenly getting the power of the archetype of the survival in the now if you've got the 34? Or maybe your behavior, you're suddenly aware of your behavior in the now, the correctness of that. Or you've got the 20 and now you can suddenly, your body is speaking through you from that 57. These are all things that you can play with, and you can just sit with it, explore with it, if it feels correct for you to do that, of course. So I will be back very shortly with the first line of Gate 57. Thank you as always for joining me. If you have any comments, please do get in touch. And otherwise I will see you soon. So off I go to record line 1. Go gently. I'll see you soon.